Hey, hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. I hope you're all doing really well out there on this Friday night. Yes, this is your segue, your gateway into the weekend. Or as I like to call it here on my channel, the Friday Crescendo. Yes, and what a lovely kickoff for this video, at least in my opinion. I played a couple of bars from the new Verna Lint single. And more about her in a couple of seconds, but first, as usual, we need Danny from the Kids from Fame to kick this Friday night off properly. Yeah, so take it away, Danny.
Friday night's gonna be alright, it's gonna be right, it's gonna be alright now, baby. Friday night.
So this Friday night, I'm going to talk about some really exciting news that came my way just recently. And the main theme or the main subject for this Friday night video is going to be me, as usual, talking about music. Well, more specifically, covers albums and tribute albums and my thoughts around those. Yeah, but first, exciting news. This week, I got some really exciting news about a new album coming up by Verna Lint. Yes. And yeah, I can hear your questions coming at me through the screen. Wait, what? Who? A lot of question marks. Yeah, and I don't blame you. We're not talking about a big mainstream artist here, really, but I'm sure some of you are familiar with Verna Lint before. But if you're not, here's a brief summary. Swedish singer, based in London in the early 1980s, where she signed with the label The Compact Organization, set up by Todd Taylor. And Todd Taylor and Verna Lint was going to go on and work together on all of her records at the time. And in 1985, she released her last album to date, and that was called Play Record. Yeah, so it's been 40 years since we had a new album from Verna Lint. In between that, just a couple of singles. But this week, she announced that finally I can say that the new album is going to be out in October. Yes, so I was super excited. I was so excited that I had to make a short about it, and I will try to link it up here so you can check it out. It's a brief summary, really, of Verna Lint's career, but of course I couldn't include all of it in there, so I have to do a special at some point, and I promise you there will be one shortly, probably leading up to the album in October. But yeah, you can check out that short where I talk about some of the Verna Lint's singles and so forth and so on. So yeah, a new album finally after 40 years, and it's going to be called, according to the single that came out last year, Out Cold, it says on the label here, it's going to be called Donau. And she's still collaborating with Todd Taylor, which I'm really pleased to see. So, wow, yeah. That's great news. And not only that, she also said that there will be a new single leading up to this album. Not only Out Cold, which we got last year, no, a brand new one. And here it is, the Like song. Yes. And yeah, this is the same 7-inch actually that I showed you before, Out Cold. Just happened to be a double A-side, which I call it, with the Like song. But it hasn't been available on streaming services before, so now it is. From yesterday. It was released yesterday. So now you can listen to the Like song as well. So you go from the breezy, nice, warm tone of Out Cold to the more popular, the Like song. Two brilliant songs from Verna Lint, which is now available both on streaming services. So we're now just patiently waiting the new album Donau. Yeah, and the Like song, by the way, was the couple of bars we heard here for the intro of this video. I just wanted to showcase that. I wanted to include more about the Like song being the next single in the short that I did as well, but hey, after all, it's just a short. Time is of the essence when you do those. So, but now I mention it to you guys. Yeah, so that's big news. Verna Lint's coming back. And like I said in the short, what is the genre we're talking about here? Well, you tell me. It's all over the place, and that's what I like about Verna Lind. She's very unpredictable, but what you're going to hear when you put on a record with her. It could be straight pop, could be experimental, it could be really avant-garde, it could be jazz, actually, it could be anything. And that's what makes me so excited about Verna Lind's music, the unpredictability of it all. And the new album, I can't even speculate what that's going to be. But if it's anything like these 2 tracks that we got in late last year, phew, it's going to be a killer of an album. The great music of 2025 just continues, doesn't it? We had so many great releases this year, at least in my opinion. You may differ in your opinion about the music that has come out so far, but for me, it has been a great year. And speaking of which, over to the next great news, and that actually comes from one of my viewers who commented on my Veronica Electronica video that I did a couple of weeks ago, and that is, of course, Madonna's new remix album, Veronica Electronica. One of my viewers said, the CD is coming. And I was like, wow, that's really good news, because I missed that completely. So I'm really thankful for that piece of information. Because initially when Veronica Electronica was released, they said it was going to be an exclusive vinyl release. But now, after public demand, because after all, it's Madonna, a lot of fans all around the world, they need it on CD as well. Yeah, because not everyone has a record player and they want the CD. They want to own a physical copy that they can actually play. Yeah, now they will be able to. It's going to be released on CD. And I don't think it's out yet. I should have checked that before I started recording here. But yeah, great news. And once again, thank you for commenting on that one and enlightening me and the viewers on that. And that's what I want the comments to be like, not only informing me of news, but to have that communication and say, hey, by the way, I can add something to what you were saying, and or you have a different opinion on something. And if you do, please elaborate, not only, oh, it's crap or something like that. That's what I always wanted. I always say that in my videos. Please comment and we'll start that discussion. I want to interact more with you guys. So if you feel inclined, comment and say whatever's on your mind. I don't mind at all. Yeah, let's have that conversation. Yeah, so that's big news. And in connection to that Madonna album, the Veronica Electronica, I also want to pinpoint another comment that I got. A brilliant analysis of what I said in that video, really. Because I said, well, in other words, but I was... Madonna doesn't repeat herself. She always tried to reinvent herself and do something new. And I said, that's why I think it won't be a Confessions on the Dance Floor Volume 2, really. But this commenter said, and it was so good, that, hey, but if she never done this before, she might as well do a Volume 2, right? Because it's something new, right? It's still a follow-up. It might sound a bit different, but it might still be Volume 2 of Confessions on the Dance Floor, because she's never done that before. Yeah, of course, with some of the compilations, but that doesn't count. For studio albums, she never done that. So I thought that was really a good insight to what I had been saying in that video. So thank you so much for that. And please go down to the comments on that Veronica Electronica video and read those comments that I just talked about. The viewer that mentioned this follow-up to Confessions on the Dance Floor have some other great things to say about Madonna's career and a bit of what I was saying as well in the video. So please go and check that one out. I was really thankful for that one. Put a big smile on my face. And now over to the main topic of this Friday night. And that is me talking about covers albums or tribute albums, call them what you want. And it's been on my mind this week because I just recently picked up a covers album, but more on that a bit later here. for the longest time, I want to say, I thought that there was no point in having a fully fledged covers album. I couldn't see why some artists did a full album just filled with other people's songs. I don't mind, the odd cover here and there, because there are some great covers out there, but I couldn't see why they were actually recording a whole album of just covers. But my mind have changed over the years, and what I want to do here is just to show you a handful of the covers albums that I have here in my collection, and the one that made a turning point for me, where I re-evaluated the covers albums or the tribute albums. And let's start with from the beginning, I want to say, with this album here behind me. Yes, this is Tracey Ullman, of course, with her debut album from 1983, You Broke My Heart in 17 Places. She was mostly known as an actress, a comedian on British television at the time, but it also turns out she had a great voice, and one thing led to another, and all of a sudden she was signed to Stiff Records. Yeah, and I love this album. I probably picked it up in 1984, so it was a year after the fact, and I loved it. But I never saw it as a fully fledged covers album. No, of course I knew that there were some covers on it. There were 60 songs and things like that. But the rest of the songs, in my mind, they were like specially written for Tracey Ullman, with that 60s flair put to it to go with the style that she was dawning at the time and all of that. But yeah, no, it is a fully fledged covers album. It's filled with covers. So we have tracks like Breakaway, which I think was Del Shannon who did that one originally. And then we have, of course, kicking off the B-side here, Move Over Darling, which is Doris Day. And I knew about this one back in the day because my parents were listening quite a lot to Doris Day. And Bobby's Girl, and I think Bobby's Girl, I had to note it down here because I wasn't too familiar with that one. Marcy Blaine was the artist that made it famous, at least I think here in the UK, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm Always Touched by Your Presence, Dear. And that is a Blondie song, of course. But at the time, I didn't know if I heard any Blondie songs back then. It was probably Heart of Glass or Atomic. Yeah, those songs. But never I'm Always Touched by Your Presence, Dear. But yeah, I have to say Tracey does a great work of it here. So yeah, it's filled of different great songs by other artists here that Tracey is covering. But in my mind back then, the following tracks were specially written for her. And we'll start out with They Don't Know. That is written by Kirsty MacColl and also recorded by Kirsty MacColl. So it was released prior to this one. And Kirsty MacColl at this point in time I wasn't familiar with. This was really the entry point for me to get to know more about Kirsty MacColl. But she would come on my radar, I want to say, a bit later than this. So at the time, I thought that was a specially written track for Tracey Ullman. How wrong I was. Then we have the title track, You Broke My Heart in 17 Places, also written by Kirsty MacColl, but I don't think she ever released it. I'm sure she didn't. But what I found on while searching the internet is that she recorded a demo for it. And if that's out there, I never heard it. It's not on this excellent box set that I also own. It has 8 CDs and it covers the whole of Kirsty's career, really. It's on here, but not the demo, but Tracey's original, I would say original, but Tracey's recording is on this one, on the last disc of this one. Other People's Songs, it's called, yeah. But the demo, yeah, if it's recorded, I never heard it, and that's basically what I could find about it. She recorded a demo, that's it. But just because you record a demo doesn't mean that you record into a crappy cassette player all the time. No, some of these artists actually went into a studio, did a proper recording of it, but it was called a demo recording because they were practicing the song, for example. But perhaps the background track for it was completed, and that is what was used on this album. And that is a question. I don't know. It's just me speculating, and I know others speculated about that as well, that the backing track was for the demo was used here on this record, so they just overlaid Tracy's voice, basically. So I'm now turning to you guys. Is there anyone who's watching this that know anything more about it? And I'm especially looking at you, Ruby, if you're watching this one, because I know you have a fantastic knowledge about everything Kirsty MacColl. So I would love to know some more about You Broke My Heart in 17 Places. Yeah, for sure. So that was the second song that I thought was originally an original written for Tracey Ullman. And then we have Shattered as well on the A-side. It's a third track on this one, and it's Wayne Carson who wrote that one. And Wayne Carson, I think, is most famous for writing Always on My Mind among so many others. So yeah, Always on My Mind, of course, covered by Elvis and Pet Shop Boys as well. Yeah, great one. So yeah, he wrote Shattered, but I couldn't find anything more on this song. If anyone else recorded it, I couldn't find it. It's only mentioned on this album. So was that the one and only artist that covered his song Shattered? I don't know. So once again, I turn to you guys. Do you know anymore? Because the internet didn't. At least what I found, there was nothing around this. So we could consider Shattered being an exclusive track for this one. But the rest is surely covers of other people's songs. Yeah. So that's Tracey Ullman. That's where it all started. But like I said, I didn't know it was a covers album back in the day when I bought it. The next one I want to talk about is this one. It's Claire Richards and Euphoria, a great covers album. But when it came out in 2023, I didn't even look that way. I remember seeing some adverts on social media and so forth and so on. Claire Richards' new album, Euphoria. I was like, oh, covers albums. I don't know. And I wasn't too familiar with Claire Richards. I knew that she was part of Steps, that British group, along with Lisa Scott-Lee, of course, which I talked about here as well on my channel. But that is how far my knowledge about Step goes. I've never been very fond of Steps, really. And that's why I really didn't pay much attention to Claire Richards when this one came out. But then it's a classic story when it comes to me, at least. Listening a lot to playlists that I created on Spotify, going to and from work during the weeks. And when those playlists run out, Spotify decides to say, hey, here's another listen for you based on what you just listened to on your playlist. And a track from this one came up. I recognized the voice of Andy Bell from Erasure doing a great cover of Summer Night City, the old ABBA song. And together, he did this as a duet, so I could hear that someone else was singing on it. And it sounded really good. And it turns out it was Claire Richards, of course, taken from this album. So I was like, okay, that sounded really good. So I'll listen to a couple of other tracks. And I discovered, to my delight, I could see that she did Xanadu, for example, on this album. She also did Gloria, of course, and some other great tunes. Love is a Battlefield as well. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to listen to it. And then all of a sudden, I listened through the whole album and I had a big smile on my face. I loved this album. Bar one track, but we're going to come to that one. But she does such a great work, and little did I know that she had such a great voice. I love her voice. It's such a powerful, emotional voice. Wow. Yeah. So it really changed my mind, not only on the cover album concept, but also on Claire Richards. She's a great artist with a great voice. Yeah. And this is a great album, like I said. So Euphoria, the title track here, is, of course, Loreen's Euphoria from the Eurovision entry. Was that in... I can't even remember the year now. Was it 2015? Or 12? It's like a bingo here. And she also does, like I said, Summer Night City with Andy Bell, and also No More Tears, Enough Is Enough, that old disco song. And that one is with an artist called Delta Goodream. And I hope I pronounced that correctly, that surname, Goodream. Delta Goodream. Yeah, anyhow, they do a great job with this duet. It's one of those songs that you heard so many times and you could easily get tired of it over time, but they actually blow some new life into it with the voices and a different arrangement, and it's overall a really good one. The one I'm holding in my hand, I think it's a bit of a deluxe edition, a limited edition, it says here. 19-track, 2 LP, and it all came on beautiful... I might as well show you this, because I'm holding it up. Blue vinyl for the first disc, and the second one on beautiful pink, neon pink, I want to say, vinyl. Yeah. And they sound really good. It's a really good issue, and it's presented in a nice gatefold with Claire there. And while we're at it, show you the inserts. That's the first one. You only get credits on the other side, so I won't show you the full one there. And then for the second insert, it looks like this. Even more Claire and even more credits. Yes. And I think with this one, because I ordered this one at the time, because I listened to it so much on streaming services, I was like, I want a physical copy of this one. So I went to her official store, and it turns out they had copies left there. And I think this one came with a signed print as well. Oh, yeah, here it is. No, it wasn't. It was the insert. It should be in here somewhere. Oh, yeah, I think I found it. Here it is. Yeah, so a signed photo there by Claire. And I'm not really a big one when it comes to autographed items from artists, but if I do get them while ordering from the official store or something like that, I don't mind at all. But I think I need to collect them all from all the different artists and bands I had got autographs for throughout the years, and perhaps frame them and have them on the wall. And I can brag to all the people that come visiting me here and say, have you seen that one? Yeah, I don't know. But I'm not a huge one. If I don't get one, I'm not crying. I'm after the music first and foremost. And this is a brilliant, brilliant covers albums. And yeah, there's one song really I think she doesn't really pull off that well. And that is Never Trust a Stranger, the Kim Wilde track. They have very different voices, I'm aware, but you could still do a cover, even if you have a different voice range. And Claire should really pull this off. But for some reason, I think that is the weakest one. It doesn't really grab me, and it has nothing to do with me being a Kim Wilde fan, because I don't mind anyone else doing a cover of it. But she doesn't really reach those heights that she does on all the other tracks here. There's just something about it. I can't really pinpoint it. But that's basically the only track that I have any complaint of at all. And I also want to say that this whole thing is produced by the brilliant Steve Anderson, and Steve Anderson's been involved with so many artists throughout the years. He's not only part of Brothers in Rhythm, which I'm very familiar with, especially from the 1990s. We also work with Britney Spears, Westlife, and so forth and so on. And he does a great job in producing this whole album. That one really changed things up for me when it comes to my outlook on covers albums. And another one that also did that in 1998, I believe it was, I have it here on CD, is a Depeche Mode tribute album. And I've seen quite a lot of these kind of albums, especially Depeche Mode tribute albums, before this one was released and after the fact. And I never really been impressed by any of them. But this one was different. It does include artists like Smashing Pumpkins, The Cure, Veruca Salt, Hooverphonic, Locust, and Rammstein, and Deftones, and Apollo 440, just to mention a few. And you can just imagine all of these artists doing in their way, interpreting songs by Depeche Mode. They have so many hits that you can choose from. And this one really changed the outlook on, yeah, you can do a great covers albums for sure. Or in this case, I call them tribute albums, really, because it's just one artist we're talking about here. People covering Depeche Mode. So this is surely a tribute album. So yeah, really, that one changed my outlook overall on covers albums. I'm not as allergic to them anymore. And this one back in 1998 changed my mind on tribute albums. But I'm still trying to listen to them before I grab them because there are quite a lot of duds out there when it comes to both tributes and covers albums, of course. Yeah, so this is a great one. And I just want to say that Locust's Master and Servant on this one, made up as a lounge exotica track, really, is the standout track on this one for sure. But we also have The Cure's wonderful rendition of World in My Eyes on this one, and Rammstein's Stripped. You can't go wrong with this one. So if you ever find this particular tribute album, which is called For the Masses, yes, pick it up. If you're a fan of Depeche Mode and you're a fan of any of these artists that I just mentioned, you can't go wrong with this one. It's a thoroughly enjoyable album from start to finish. So yeah, and with some artists that I never heard of at the time, then I since became a fan of, and that goes, for example, for Hooverphonic, for example, is one of them, and the one I just mentioned, Locust, I couldn't even remember it. I'm old, yeah, or getting there at least. And the last one I want to talk about that really further, I want to say, changed my mind on the covers albums is this one, the latest album that I picked up when it comes to covers albums, and actually the latest album that I picked up earlier this week, and that is, of course, Belinda Carlisle's Once Upon a Time in California. I talked about this album when it was... I think a couple of weeks ago when I was talking about upcoming albums, and this one was on my maybe list. And the only reason it was on my maybe list is not because it's Belinda Carlisle, because I love Belinda Carlisle, but it was the fact it was a covers albums. Yeah, so I'm still a bit, even if I've changed my mind over the years on covers albums, they can be really good. I still want to hear a track or two from them before I make up my mind for sure. And usually not just one and two. I want to hear the whole album before I invest in it on a physical copy. And that's exactly what I did with this one. When it was released, I started listening to it and I found myself in a very nice mood. It's very much an easy listening experience here. There's nothing mind-blowing, really. Well, the voice of Belinda Carlisle was a bit mind-blowing to me because she still has such a great voice. It really holds up well. She does such a great job with this album. And yeah, it is filled of covers, and most of them I was familiar with since before. If you could read my mind, I was so pleased to hear her rendition of that one. It is a Gordon Lightfoot composition to begin with. I got familiar with it from the movie 54, All About Studio 54, when it was done by some all-star kind of thing back in the, was it in the late 1990s or early 2000s? Yeah, anyhow, that was a great rendition. But hers, whew, even more laid back, nice. And then we have one great cover. I think that was the first I heard from this album when I did the pre-listening to it before I bought it. The Air That I Breathe, she does a great rendition of this one. And of course, Everybody's Talking, we know about that one. Superstar, probably my favorite track on this one. All of these, it's not carbon copies at all of the originals, and that's what I really appreciate when you're listening to a good cover song. You need to make it your own, and I think that Belinda does make this her own. This is the more laid back, like I said, more loungy perhaps, easy listening Belinda we're talking about here, but the arrangements are so different from the original, so we're not listening to a karaoke session here basically with Belinda Carlisle. No, they really thought this through and made the tracks their own in a way. So yeah, this album is as sun-drenched as the cover. I love it. Like I said, it's not going to change music history here at all. This is easy listening. It's for you to just lay back, take it in, and enjoy life, basically. And enjoy Belinda Carlisle's wonderful voice. And also, I have to say, the color of this vinyl is as warm and inviting as the sound on the record. Look at that. Yes, absolutely stunning. They call it California Sunset colored vinyl. And yeah, the pressing itself is as good as this one looks. Perfection. So yeah, this was not really a deep dive, a thorough examination of the covers albums or even the tribute albums. It's just a way for me to get a discussion going. Hopefully, I really hope that we could get a discussion going on the covers albums or tribute albums down in the comments around this. So this was some of the records that really changed my mind over the years, and just recently, another one on tribute albums and covers albums. And I thought it was an interesting topic because there's been so many covers albums done over the years, but I only have a handful of them, really. Perhaps you could recommend some really good covers albums to me as well that you would think I would appreciate. And I'm talking fully fledged cover albums here, not the odd cover here and there. But you could, of course, also mention the odd cover here and there down in the comments as well, because I always appreciate getting some nice music tips from you guys. Yeah, so that's it. I want to thank you for watching yet another video with me and joining me here on yet another Friday night. It has been a pleasure, I have to say. I'm going to be back soon, more specifically next week, and who knows, there might be a short or two that pops up. All depends on how excited I'm going to get for some news, or I might pick up the random record of the day thing that I did for a while as well. Who knows? But I'll be back for certain next Friday again for yet another Friday night with you guys. So a huge thank you to all of my subscribers, to all of you who are watching. You are near and dear to me, but the subscribers a bit more so, because you're subscribing to my channel. So thank you for doing that. So yeah, I'm going to let Danny once again wave his arm, build up that energy, and sing us off for this Friday night. But before that, I just want to say a big heartfelt adieu to you all. Take it away, Danny.
Movie rolls on, there ain't no more love scenes, the romance is gone. But it's a one-man show, it's moving real slow, but it's picking up speed as I'm turning the key. Coming up, coming up, coming up.